I'm Max Ruthenberg Marshall, founder of Porchlight. Today, I'm going to be answering one of our divorce top questions: how to tell your kids that you're getting divorced. This is one of the most difficult conversations that you're going to have during your divorce experience, but a little preparation can go a long way. First, you'll want to set out some ground rules with your spouse. Things like, there is no bad guy in this situation. The divorce is no one's fault. There's no bad blood between you and your spouse, at least in front of your kids. And you want to put on your brave faces. You don't want your kids to end up comforting you during this conversation. Once you've laid out the ground rules and you've agreed on them, there are some tips that you can implement to make the conversation go a little bit better. First, you want to plan what you're going to say. This is not a conversation that you want to wing and just handle on the fly. So discuss with each other what information you need to relay to the kids and what information is adult information only and they don't need to know. You'll also want to make sure that you talk to your kids together. That's both spouses together as well as all the kids together if you have multiple children. You don't want rumors spreading between your children if you don't talk to them all at the same time. And you want to put on a united front for your kids by talking to them together with your spouse. You'll also want to reassure your kids. There are two primary things you're going to want to reassure them of. First, that both of you love them and none of that will ever change due to the divorce. And second, that the divorce is not their fault. Kids can internalize the divorce issue and try and fix it in some way, and they need to know that they're not responsible for it and there's nothing they can do to fix it. Although it can be tempting, you also want to avoid trying to buy your kids' happiness in the situation. It is difficult to watch your kids be upset and distressed, and sometimes it can be tempting to find an easy solution, such as a new toy, or I've even seen a new puppy before. But if you try and mask over the emotions of the situation, that's only going to make them more difficult for your kids to process. It's okay for your kids to be upset sometimes. What they need from you is the ability to walk through those emotions with them to help them understand and not to try and paste over those emotions and pretend that they're not there. Towards the end of the conversation, you'll want to explain to the kids what's going to happen next. This is to help manage their expectations about the situation and let them feel that they're a little bit more in control because they know what to expect. If you know what the custody schedule is going to be when you talk to your kids, you can share that information with them. But it's very likely, especially if you're talking to your kids early in the process, that you don't know what the custody schedule is going to be. So you can just tell your kids that that's something that the adults are going to figure out. And once you've figured it out, you will let them know. Be sure to invite questions as part of this conversation. Kids need to know that they're able to ask you anything. You might be surprised at what's running through their mind. It might not be any of the concerns that you thought they had, but they might have other concerns that to them are really pressing. So make sure they know that you are open to addressing any of their questions. After the conversation, you'll want to check in with your kids periodically. This probably isn't a one and done conversation. Yes, you're going to deliver the major news in one conversation, but it's likely that your kids will need some time to process that information. And they could have more questions or just want to talk it through more days, weeks, or even months later. So be sure to check on your kids periodically after you've had this conversation. I hope implementing these tips will help breaking the news to your kids a little bit more easy in your divorce process. If you need help with your divorce, Porchlight is here to make the process easier for you so that you can work to make it easier for your kids.